I'm Isolde Marrow, and 3 weeks before my wedding, my world shattered in the flicker of a TikTok video. At 11:03 p.m., sprawled across my Chicago apartment's couch, I scrolled through my phone, the city's hum a faint pulse beyond my window. The video loaded, and there she was, my twin sister, Vesper, her arms draped around my fiancé, Nathan, on a glittering rooftop bar. Her fingers, adorned with my emerald engagement ring, caught the neon glow, each facet winking like a traitor's smile. Her lips brushed his jaw, and the caption seared itself into my retinas. Found my forever. #sorry not sorry. My earrings, the ones I'd worn to my law firm's gala, glinted on her lobes. A petty theft atop a grander one. At 30, I'd built a life of precision. Corporate law, 7 years with Nathan, a wedding planned to the last peony at the Drake Hotel. 250 guests awaited the day I'd become Mrs. Nathan Caldwell, a day now mocked by Vesper's smug dance moves. The $75,000 deposit, non-refundable within 30 days, weighed like a stone in my gut, paid from my savings, every cent a testament to my trust. Shock didn't break me, it sharpened me. My first thought wasn't tears or screams, but a cold, absurd clarity. She's wearing my earrings. Then I saw it. A note slipped under my door, Vesper's handwriting curling like venom. "He's mine now, Issy. Better luck next time." The audacity, the cruelty, landed like a slap, yet my pulse steadied. I sat upright, the city skyline a jagged silhouette against the night. My phone buzzed, friends, cousins, colleagues, their texts a chorus of concern. I ignored them, my mind already racing, plotting. Vesper had always taken what was mine, but this time she'd miscalculated. I wasn't the girl who'd let her steal my childhood diary or my high school valedictorian speech. I was a woman who read contracts, who planned contingencies, who survived. The Drake's ballroom, the flowers, the band, all mine. In my name, my power. Vesper's TikTok was a declaration of war, but I'd fight on my terms. Stick with me to see how this betrayal sparked a reckoning you won't believe. Subscribe to my channel for the latest chapters of this saga, because trust me, you'll want to witness what comes next. The night after Vesper's TikTok scorched my screen, I moved with the precision of a surgeon. My Chicago apartment, usually a haven of soft lamplight and legal briefs, became a war room. I brewed coffee, black and bitter, and spread the wedding contracts across my oak dining table, their pages crisp under my fingers. Every document bore my name, Isolde Marrow, not Nathan's, not Vesper's. The Drake's Hotel's $75,000 deposit, non-refundable within 30 days, was my anchor. Catering, florists, the jazz ensemble I'd booked for our first dance, all secured by my credit cards, my meticulous planning. Nathan had claimed his funds were locked in a startup venture, promising to repay me post-wedding. I'd believed him, my trust a blind spot now glaringly exposed. My phone lit up with Nathan's texts, each one a plea laced with panic. "Isolde, let's talk. This isn't what you think." I scrolled past them, my heart a clenched fist. Then a notification from my bank app froze my breath. Nathan had tried to access my account, likely to cancel vendors, to erase my work. The attempt failed. I changed my passwords the moment I saw Vesper's video. His audacity ignited a fire in me, not of grief, but of calculated fury. I called the Drake's event coordinator, Marianne Wass, her voice crisp despite the midnight hour. The deposit, she confirmed, was ironclad, the event mine to shape. I hung up, my mind alight with possibility. The wedding would not be a wedding, but a gala, a bold declaration of my resilience. I envisioned a freedom gala with vibrant jazz, gourmet tapas, and a dress code of audacious colors, stripping away the white veil of betrayal. Vesper's note, still crumpled on my counter, taunted me. Her lifelong pattern, stealing my diary, sabotaging my first legal case to snag my internship, had culminated in this. Yet her cruelty clarified my purpose. I emailed my best friend Mara, a single line. I'm okay. Meet me tomorrow. We're planning something big. At my law firm, I moved through depositions with mechanical grace, my colleagues' pitying glances bouncing off my armor. During lunch, I locked my office door and called vendors. This is Isolde Morrow, I began, my voice steady. For the event on the 28th, we're switching to a gala format. Keep the head count, but make it bold. Think jazz, not waltzes. The caterer hesitated, then agreed, sensing my resolution. Vesper tried to ambush me at my office that evening, her heels clicking outside my locked door. I watched her through the security feed, her borrowed scarf, mine, of course, draped over her shoulders. She left a voicemail, her tone syrupy with false remorse. Issy, we need to talk, sister to sister. I deleted it, my silence a weapon. The investigator I'd hired sent his first report. Nathan and Vesper's affair stretched back months, perhaps a year. The revelation cut deeper than the TikTok, yet it fueled me. I wasn't just reclaiming my event, I was rewriting my story. The gala would be my stage, my victory, and Vesper's reckoning. The days following Vesper's attempted office confrontation blurred into a storm of action. My Chicago law firm demanded focus, but my mind churned with the alchemy of transforming a wedding into a triumph. The Drake Hotel's ballroom, once destined for vows, now pulsed with my vision of a freedom gala, a night to reclaim my narrative from Vesper's grasping hands. I sat at my desk during a rare lunch break, the city's skyline a gray smudge through my window. My laptop glowed with vendor confirmations, each call a brick in my fortress. The caterer had swapped plated dinners for vibrant tapas, seared scallops, truffle crostini, and mango ceviche, foods that screamed celebration, not solemnity. The jazz ensemble, originally booked for a first dance, now prepared a set of upbeat standards, their saxophones poised to drown out any memory of Nathan's promises. I emailed the rental company, trading white linens for bold crimsons and golds, colors that matched the fire in my chest. The florist, initially baffled, agreed to replace lilies with wild orchids, their untamed petals a mirror of my newfound defiance. Each change was a deliberate cut, severing the wedding's ghost from my future. My emotions swung between exhilaration and a gnawing dread. Would Vesper and Nathan dare to appear? The private investigator's second report landed in my inbox, a digital dagger. Nathan and Vesper had been meeting in secret for over a year, their affair woven through my engagement's fabric. A photo showed them at a dive bar I'd never visited, Nathan's hand on Vesper's knee, her laugh caught mid-frame. The betrayal's depth hollowed me, yet it sharpened my resolve. I forwarded the report to my lawyer, a precaution against Vesper's inevitable counterattacks. Nathan's texts grew desperate, each one a variation of denial. You're overreacting, Isolde. Let me explain. I blocked his number, my fingers trembling not with sorrow, but with the thrill of severance. Vesper, meanwhile, escalated her campaign. She slid another note under my apartment door, its words dripping with venom. You can't erase us, Issy. Give up. I burned it in my sink, the smoke curling like a promise. My best friend, Mara, became my anchor, meeting me after work to review gala details. Her indignation fueled my courage, her laughter a reminder of loyalties untainted by Vesper's reach. We chose a crimson gown for me, its sleek lines a far cry from the wedding dress now boxed in my closet. The gala's program printed overnight would declare Isolde Morrow's Freedom Gala, a night of new horizons, a title that felt like a manifesto. A new idea sparked, a charity auction with proceeds for a women's empowerment nonprofit. I contacted local artists and jewelers, securing donations of paintings and bracelets, each piece a symbol of creation over destruction. The auction added stakes, a public good to counter Vesper's selfishness. My heart raced at the thought of the gala's impact, but a shadow lingered, Vesper's unpredictability. As the 28th approached, I walked Chicago streets, the wind off Lake Michigan sharp against my face. The city felt alive, complicit in my rebellion. Vesper could steal my fiancé, but she couldn't steal my will. The gala loomed, a beacon of my refusal to break. Vesper's TikTok campaign intensified, a digital siege aimed at rewriting our history. Each morning I woke to new videos, her face radiant with false sincerity, Nathan's arm around her like a trophy. She posted a clip from my engagement party, editing out my laughter to show only her and Nathan, their glances framed as destiny. The caption, "We were always meant to be," twisted the knife, her followers flooding the comments with praise, calling her bold, calling me bitter. I sat in my Chicago apartment, the city's lights a distant flicker beyond my window, and scrolled through her posts. One video showed a childhood photo, Vesper and me in matching dresses, but she'd zoomed in on herself, adding a heart around Nathan in the background. The lie was audacious, claiming a romance that never existed. My friends texted furiously, their anger a chorus of support, but Vesper's email arrived like a poisoned dart. "Nathan proposed to me first, Isolde. You were just practice." The falsehood burned, yet I saved it, evidence for my lawyer. My emotions churned, rage at Vesper's cruelty, grief for the 7 years I'd given Nathan, but above all, a steely determination. I refused to engage online, my silence a shield. At my law firm, colleagues whispered, their pity a weight I shrugged off. I focused on the Freedom Gala, calling the Drake Hotel to confirm the auction setup. The nonprofit's director thanked me profusely, her voice a reminder of the stakes beyond my personal war. Vesper's followers grew bolder, tagging me in comments. "Move on, Isolde. She's happier." The attack stung, but Mara's late-night visits kept me grounded. We sipped wine, laughing over Vesper's desperation, her need to flaunt a stolen love. I told my friends to wait, to trust the gala would speak for me. My heart ached, but each vendor call, confirming orchids, jazz, crimson linens, rebuilt my strength. The investigator's third report revealed more. Vesper had bragged about sabotaging my first legal case years ago, ensuring I lost a coveted internship she later claimed. The memory of that loss, once a dull ache, now fueled my fire. Vesper hadn't just taken Nathan. She tried to dismantle my career, my identity. I forwarded the report to my lawyer, my pulse quickening at the thought of legal recourse. Nathan tried calling from a new number, his voicemails a mix of groveling and threats. "Don't ruin the wedding, Isolde. You'll regret this." I deleted them, my resolve hardening. Vesper's final taunt came via courier, a photo of her and Nathan framed with a note, "Our love wins." I tossed it into a drawer, its weight no match for my plans. Chicago's skyline glittered as I worked late, the gala's details falling into place. The auction items arrived, a sapphire necklace, a vibrant canvas, each a testament to renewal. My crimson gown hung in my closet, a symbol of the woman I was becoming. Vesper could rewrite the past, but I was authoring the future. The 28th loomed, a reckoning she couldn't escape. The morning of the 28th dawned sharp and cold, Chicago's skyline etched against a pale sky. I stood in my apartment, the crimson gown draped across my bed like a battle flag. The Freedom Gala was hours away, its details etched into my mind. Wild orchids cascading over tables, a jazz band tuning their instruments, auction items gleaming under the Drake Hotel's chandeliers. My heart thrummed with anticipation, but a thread of anxiety wove through it. Vesper's unpredictability was a shadow I couldn't shake. I slipped on my grandmother's amethyst necklace, its cool weight a tether to my roots. The wedding dress, once a dream, remained boxed, replaced by the gown's bold lines. I applied makeup with precision, each stroke a defiance of the tears I'd refused to shed. The gala's program, delivered that morning, lay on my counter. Isolde Marrow's Freedom Gala, a night of new horizons. Its words felt like a vow, not to a man, but to myself. The charity auction had grown beyond my expectations. Local artists had donated vibrant sculptures. Jewelers offered delicate rings, and a tech mogul contributed a weekend retreat, all for the women's empowerment nonprofit. The cause elevated the gala, a beacon of purpose amid my personal storm. I emailed the nonprofit's director, confirming the auction's logistics, her gratitude a warmth against the chill of Vesper's betrayal. My phone buzzed with texts from Mara, who had arrived at the Drake to oversee setup. Her updates, orchids in place, band rehearsing, grounded me. Yet the investigator's final report, delivered at dawn, lingered like smoke. Vesper had orchestrated the affair's public reveal, choosing TikTok to maximize my humiliation. The knowledge cut, but it also freed me. Her cruelty was her weakness, not mine. I drove to the Drake, Chicago streets alive with morning bustle. The ballroom took my breath away. Crimson and gold linens glowed under soft lights. Orchids spilled like secrets, and the auction table sparkled with promise. Marianne, the event coordinator, met me with a nod, her clipboard a symbol of order. She said, "Everything is as you requested, Ms. Marrow," her tone professional but warm. I scanned the program again, its title a declaration of my rebirth. Guests would arrive soon, their curiosity piqued by the gala's audacious premise. I imagined their whispers, their glances, and felt a surge of pride. But Vesper's potential arrival loomed, her white gown and stolen ring a specter. I pushed the thought aside, focusing on the jazz band's warm-up, their notes a pulse of defiance. My emotions were a tightrope, exhilaration at the gala's beauty, dread at the confrontation, and a quiet joy at my own resilience. The amethyst necklace gleamed, a reminder of my grandmother's strength, a woman who'd survived her own betrayals. I was ready, not just to host, but to reclaim my story. The gala was my canvas, and Vesper would not paint its ending. The Freedom Gala unfolded like a fever dream, Chicago's elite mingling under the Drake Hotel's gilded ceiling. Crimson linen shimmered, wild orchids spilled from crystal vases, and the jazz band's sultry notes wove through the crowd's laughter. I stood at the entrance, my crimson gown a defiant flame, greeting guests whose eyes flickered with intrigue. The auction table gleamed with treasures, a sapphire necklace, a vibrant canvas, each bid a step toward empowering others, a cause that steadied my racing heart. The program, clutched in every hand, declared, "I sold Morrow's Freedom Gala, a night of new horizons," its words a quiet triumph. Guests whispered, their wedding finery traded for bold hues, their curiosity a hum beneath the music. Mara, radiant and emerald, squeezed my arm, her pride a shield against the tension coiling in my chest. The gala was alive, a testament to my refusal to shatter, but Vesper's absence gnawed at me, a storm yet to break. Then they appeared, a ripple in the crowd's rhythm. Vesper, in a provocative white gown, the emerald ring glinting on her finger, clung to Nathan's arm. He wore the suit we'd chosen together, his face a mask of unease. The jazz didn't falter, but heads turned, phones lifted, capturing the moment. My pulse surged, not with fear, but with clarity. I crossed the room, a champagne flute in hand, my smile a blade. I faced them, the crowd's murmur fading. Vesper's smirk faltered as I spoke, my voice carrying. The contracts, venue, catering, band, were mine, paid with my savings, non-refundable, at $75,000. Nathan's attempt to access my bank account, a desperate bid to derail me, had failed, exposed by my vigilance. The investigator's report, I revealed, traced their affair back a year, a truth that drained the color from Vesper's face. The crowd's gasps were a chorus, their phones recording every word. Vesper clutched Nathan's arm, her ring catching the light, a false emblem of victory. I leaned closer, my voice low but firm, recounting her sabotage of my first legal case, her theft of my internship, her lifelong campaign to diminish me. Nathan's eyes darted, seeking escape, but the security guards Marianne had stationed loomed nearby. I raised my glass, addressing the room. This gala wasn't a wedding, but a celebration of freedom, of dodging a betrayal cloaked in love. The auction, I announced, had already raised thousands for women's empowerment, a legacy Vesper couldn't touch. The crowd erupted in applause, their cheers a wave that drowned Vesper's defiance. Vesper's eyes flashed, but she said nothing, her silence a concession. Nathan muttered something incoherent, pulling her toward the exit. They left, her white gown a fading specter, the crowd's applause chasing them into the night. My heart soared, not with vengeance, but with liberation. The gala pulsed on, my victory etched in every note, every bid, every smile. The Freedom Gala surged forward, its energy unbroken by Vesper and Nathan's retreat. Chicago's elite danced under the Drake Hotel chandeliers, the jazz band's rhythm a heartbeat of joy. I moved through the crowd, my crimson gown trailing like a comet's tail, the auction's success a quiet hum in my mind. Thousands had been raised for the women's empowerment nonprofit, each bit a brick in a future I'd helped build. Yet a deeper truth waited, a revelation that would anchor my triumph. My aunt, Evelyn, found me near the orchid-draped bar, her champagne glass tilted with mischief. She drew me aside, her eyes sharp with the secret kept too long. The emerald ring Vesper wore, she revealed, was a fraud, a replica crafted decades ago. Our grandmother, a woman of fierce discernment, had sold the true ring during hard times, replacing it with a near-perfect copy. She'd left instructions. The fake was a test, meant for the twin whose heart lacked warmth. Vesper, Evelyn said, had failed that test from childhood, her greed a shadow our grandmother saw clearly. The real ring, hidden in a velvet box, was pressed into my hands. I opened it, the emerald's depth catching the light, its facets alive with the warmth the replica lacked. It was identical in design, but heavier, truer, a symbol of my grandmother's faith in me. I slipped it onto my right hand, its weight a quiet vow. The revelation settled over me like dawn, my emotions a blend of awe and vindication. Vesper's victory, her stolen fiancé, her flaunted ring, was built on sand, a lie as hollow as her TikTok boasts. I returned to the gala, the real ring gleaming, its presence a secret strength. Guests swirled around me, their laughter genuine, their toasts to my courage a warmth that filled the hollows Vesper had carved. Mara, radiant in her emerald dress, raised a glass, her eyes reflecting my own quiet joy. The auction closed with a final bid, a sapphire necklace fetching thousands, cementing the night's purpose. I stood at the room's center, the jazz band's final notes fading, and felt whole. Vesper had taken Nathan, but she'd lost the war, her fake ring a mirror of her deceit. The night ended past midnight, Chicago's skyline a glitter beyond the windows. Friends lingered, their hugs a tapestry of loyalty, their stories of my strength and narrative I'd earned. I drove home, the real ring catching streetlights, its glow a reminder of my worth. Vesper's TikTok lies, Nathan's betrayal faded against the truth I now wore. The night was mine, not just in victory, but in the love that had carried me through. My friends, my family, my own unbroken spirit.
The days after the Freedom Gala carried a quiet electricity, as if Chicago itself hummed with my victory. I walked into my law firm on Monday, the city skyline sharp through the glass, my steps lighter than they'd been in weeks. The story of the gala had spread, not through Vesper's TikTok distortions, but through whispers of awe. Colleagues, clients, even strangers who'd heard of the woman who turned betrayal into a celebration. My crimson gown and the real emerald ring, now a fixture on my right hand, were talismans of that night.
My boss, a steely woman named Carla, summoned me to her office. Her dry smile betrayed admiration, her words cutting through the firm's usual formality. "The gala," she said, showed a spine most lacked, a quality she valued in the Stevenson merger now landing on my desk. The promotion she hinted at wasn't just a nod to my legal skill, but to the resilience I'd displayed. I nodded, my heart swelling, the weight of Vesper's betrayal now a distant echo. At home, I packed for Santorini, the honeymoon repurposed as a journey with Mara. The Drake had refunded the travel package, booked in my name, allowing me to rebook with ease. Vesper's final TikTok, posted days after the gala, showed her and Nathan at a drab courthouse, her cheap white dress clinging awkwardly, his face etched with regret. The caption, "Love Conquers All," rang hollow, her follower count plummeting as the investigators' report leaked online, exposing their year-long affair. I scrolled past it, my emotions steady, a blend of pity and indifference. Vesper's world was unraveling, her lies collapsing under scrutiny. My blog, launched post-gala, had gained traction, its first post about reclaiming one's narrative striking a chord with readers. Comments poured in, women mostly, sharing their own stories of betrayal and rebirth. The act of writing, of shaping my pain into purpose, felt like alchemy. Chicago's streets gleamed as I drove to the airport, Mara's laughter filling the car. Santorini awaited, its blue domes and white cliffs a canvas for renewal. The real ring caught the dashboard's light, its emerald depths a reminder of my grandmother's wisdom, her belief in my heart's truth. Vesper's fake ring, still on her finger in that courthouse photo, was a shackle she'd chosen. My phone buzzed with a notification, a new blog comment, thanking me for inspiring courage. I smiled, the city fading behind me, its pulse a rhythm of possibility. Vesper had sought to break me, but she'd forged me instead. The gala, the ring, the blog, they were chapters in a story I now owned, each word a testament to a woman who learned her worth and refused to be let it stolen. Santorini's cliffs gleamed under a blazing sun, the Aegean Sea a sapphire expanse that stretched to the horizon. I sat on a whitewashed terrace, Mara beside me, our Mai Tais sweating in the heat. The real emerald ring on my right hand caught the light, its facets dancing with a life Vesper's replica could never mimic. Chicago felt a world away, its betrayal softened by distance, yet the gala's triumph pulsed in me, a rhythm as steady as the waves below. My blog had exploded, its posts now a beacon for those navigating their own heartbreak. Readers emailed daily, their stories of resilience mirroring my own, each one a thread in a tapestry I'd unwittingly woven. The act of writing, of bearing my scars, had transformed me, not just for others, but for myself. I sipped my drink, the tang of pineapple sharp on my tongue, and felt a serenity I hadn't known was possible. Vesper's collapse had continued, her TikTok empire crumbling as her lies unraveled. A cousin's text, forwarded during our first night in Santorini, showed Vesper and Nathan's courthouse marriage fraying. She'd posted a single photo, her smile forced, Nathan's eyes averted, the fake ring dull against her cheap dress. Her followers, once rabid, had turned, their comments scathing, calling her the fraud I'd always known. My pity for her was fleeting, overshadowed by the vastness of my own freedom. Mara, sprawled on a lounge chair, laughed over the photo, her voice a warm anchor. She'd been my rock, her loyalty a contrast to Vesper's treachery. We'd spent days exploring Santorini's winding streets, tasting grilled octopus and toasting to futures unburdened by deceit. The honeymoon, once Nathan's promise, was now a celebration of friendship, its joy purer than any vow. The emerald ring, my grandmother's gift, held a quiet power. Its story, her test, her faith in me, had reshaped my understanding of family, of love. Vesper sabotage, from my childhood diary to my sabotage legal case, had been her attempt to dim my light, but she'd only made it blaze brighter. My emotions, once a storm of rage and grief, had settled into a calm certainty. I was no one's second choice, no one's shadow. A notification pinged, another blog comment, a woman thanking me for showing her she could rise. I typed a reply, my fingers steady, the ring glinting with each keystroke. Santorini's sunset bled crimson across the sky, a mirror of the gown I'd worn at the gala, of the woman I'd become. Vesper's stolen a man, but I'd claimed a life, one built on truths she'd never touch. Santorini's twilight draped the cliffs in a velvet hush, the Aegean's whispers a soft contrapoint to my thoughts. I stood on the terrace, Mara asleep in the villa behind me, the real emerald ring on my right hand catching the last embers of the sunset. Chicago, with its betrayals and triumphs, felt like a distant chapter, yet its lessons thrummed in my veins, a pulse of hard-won wisdom. At 30, I'd faced Vesper's cruelty, Nathan's deceit, and emerged not just whole, but radiant, my life a canvas I now painted with deliberate, fearless strokes. My blog had become a movement, its words a lighthouse for those lost in their own storms. Thousands followed now, their comments a chorus of courage, mothers leaving toxic marriages, daughters escaping manipulative siblings, women like me who'd learned their worth through fire. Each post I wrote, often late at night with Santorini's stars overhead, was a reckoning, a way to transmute pain into power. The gala, the ring, the auction, they were not just moments, but milestones, proof that betrayal could birth something greater than loss. Vesper's downfall had crystallized in the weeks since the gala. Her TikTok, once a shrine to her ego, lay barren, her followers deserting her as the investigators' report spread. A final photo, sent by a mutual friend, showed her alone in a dive bar, the fake emerald ring dull on her finger, Nathan absent. Her courthouse marriage, I'd heard, had fractured under the weight of his infidelity. Rumors swirled of a new affair, a cruel echo of her own betrayal. My heart stirred with a flicker of pity, but it passed like a cloud. Vesper had chosen her path, her victory as fleeting as the cheap dress she'd worn. The real ring, my grandmother's legacy, was more than a jewel. It was a testament to discernment, to the quiet strengths she'd seen in me even as a child. Vesper had taken my toys, my opportunities, my fiancé, but she could never claim my essence, the part of me that planned, endured, and rose. I'd spent years yielding to keep peace, believing harmony mattered more than justice. But the gala had taught me otherwise. Sometimes justice was the only path to peace, and I'd walked it with my head high. Mara and I had spent our final days in Santorini dreaming aloud, planning adventures, a trek through Patagonia, a cooking class in Tuscany. The honeymoon, stolen from Nathan's promises, had become a celebration of bonds that didn't break, of a friendship that had carried me through darkness. My emotions, once a tangle of rage and grief, now flowed like the sea below, vast and untroubled. I was free, not just from Vesper and Nathan, but from the weight of their expectations, their lies. Back in Chicago, my law firm had buzzed with my return, the Stevenson merger a proving ground for the promotion I'd earned. Colleagues no longer whispered pity, but respect, their nods a quiet acknowledgement of my strength. The nonprofit I'd supported with the gala's auction invited me to speak at their annual event, a chance to share my story with women still finding their voices. I'd accepted, my blog's lessons shaping my words, each sentence a bridge between my pain and their hope. The emerald ring gleamed as I leaned against the terrace railing, its light a mirror of the stars. Vesper wanted my life, but she never understood its cost, the discipline, the loyalty, the love that built it. She'd want a man who'd cheat again, a ring that lied, a future shadowed by doubt. I'd want something rarer, myself, my dignity, my self-respect, my knowledge that I was no one's shadow, no one's second choice. I thought of my grandmother, her fierce eyes and calloused hands, her stories of surviving a world that tried to break her. She'd known Vesper's heart, had seen her greed as clearly as she'd seen my resilience. The ring was her final gift, a reminder that the fake always reveals itself. Fake rings, fake love, fake sisters who mistake cruelty for triumph. Vesper's life built on theft would crumble under its own weight. Mine, built on truth, would endure. As the night deepened, I opened my laptop, drafting a new blog post. Its title, "The Strength You Find When You Stop Running," felt like a manifesto. I wrote of the gala, of Vesper's betrayal, of the ring that taught me my worth. I wrote for the women reading in quiet rooms, their hearts bruised but unbroken, urging them to claim their stories, to rise. My fingers paused, the ring's glow a silent cheer, and I smiled. This story isn't over. It's yours now, too. Like, share, and subscribe to my channel to follow the next chapters, to see how we build lives that shine brighter than any betrayal.